to another edition of the Business and Personal Podcast, where we bring you closer to the people you do business with. And today we're excited to be joined by Jesus Diego. He's a licensed Medicare specialist for AHIA. They're based out of Laredo, Texas. Do a great job there locally for the seniors, solving problems and taking stress off their plate with Medicare plan selections. So, Jesus, first of all, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you, Ryan. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure really to be here. Like Ryan said, my name is Jesus Diego. I'm based out of Texas. I'm here in Laredo, Texas, but we travel all over the state to help out any Medicare recipient. So yes, let's get it started, Ryan.
So it's the Business and Personal Podcast. So just tell people a little bit about your background and what led you to where you're at today.
So, this is Affordable Health Insurance Agency. It's a family business. It's owned by my uncle. That's how I got into the business 8 years ago. It's crazy. It's been 8 years I've been in this industry, and I've loved every step of it. Honestly, it's a great industry. I love it. I love to help out the community. But basically, well, my uncle brought me into the business. We started in Del Rio, Texas. Slowly, started growing the agency, and we're now, in Laredo. We're in Houston, Laredo, Eagle Pass, Del Rio. That's just a little bit of where we started.
And Medicare is changing so much. So, working with someone like you becomes more and more important every day. You have to get so much continuing education to stay on top of it. That's probably the most important thing of what you do. Just give our listeners and viewers an idea of how much education you need to continue to get to make sure you're ahead of the curve.
So yes, Ryan, that's actually super important. It's changing like crazy, actually. Medicare. We were able to go to a Medicare conference called Medicaranians, in Las Vegas, Nevada, this past April. There was insurance department commissioners. There was uh, a lot of different insurance carriers, and they just gave us so much information about these changes coming and in the future. Different rules rolling out for us, the agents, which we have to certify every year to make sure we're following the rules, make sure we're protecting the consumer, and everything that goes with it. But yes, continue education for us is really, really important, especially in the Medicare environment.
And just for those listening that didn't know there was somebody like Jesus there that could help you out, you pay a grand total of attention for these valuable services. You do not have to pay anything for all this knowledge that he has to look at all the plans out there, because this isn't like Netflix, right? It's not something you put on auto renew. You probably want to review it very closely every year, right?
That is correct. I mean, every year, and I'm sure people that are on Medicare already, they've seen it before. Every year, plans tend to change, and especially this upcoming year, there's going to be a lot of changes, especially for your Part D, which is your prescription drug. We can go a little bit into more details later on, but that's just some of the changes coming for the consumers.
Yeah, we definitely want to leave people with some good knowledge and reason to call you before we get done with this here. But on the note of the Netflix auto renew and plans change, and you didn't pay close enough attention, all of a sudden you're not in the best plan for you. What are some of the things you often see when you're like, oh, wait a second, you're not even close to the right plan for you? What normally is it that people miss?
Checking their important benefits, not just your ancillary benefits, but making sure your providers, your prescriptions are in network. That's really important for us. So that's actually one of the first steps that us at Affordable Health Insurance Agency, that's the first steps we take, is making sure your preferred providers are in network, your specialists, your prescriptions. All that is for us, that's the most important things. You already have that relationship with your provider. You want to keep seeing that provider, and obviously we want to make sure that your prescriptions are going to be covered, so you don't have to go to maybe a generic from a brand drug or vice versa. So for us, that's really important. Making sure all those details go with what your needs. Obviously, there's every needs analysis is different for every person. Maybe one person is really healthy and they really don't see the doctor much and they really care more about their dental, vision, or hearing benefits, then we can, check what plan would be the best for you. But we make sure we go into the needs analysis really deep with our members.
Yeah, and some people assume, well, if my family member's got this plan, I've got their same genes, this is the best plan for me. But everybody's just so much different.
You couldn't have said it better. Yes, we probably see that every day. Hey, my friend told me he pays nothing and I should qualify for the same. And like, no, sir, sorry. Your friend might have this state benefit that you don't have. You may qualify for it, but right now you don't, which most times is Medicaid. But we can always assist you and see where we can get for you to get to that point.
So you're telling me if someone gets like a $200 grocery card, if they pick a Medicare plan, they shouldn't base it on the $200 grocery card. They should probably look into it a little further than that, right?
That is correct. And we see it every year. They usually go with the one that gives it a little bit more benefits in that aspect, the grocery or whatever. So they usually go with that benefit, but during the year, they might start having issues. The plan's not, doing what it promised or whatever. It's not working for them. So, that's what we're here for, checking the needs analysis. There's going to be those issues where they don't like the plan. They might be able to come back. One thing for 2025, this upcoming year, there is going to be changes where they can't come back and switch to different plans. There's going to be only certain periods, especially for the dual recipients. They won't be able to be switching like they're used to these past years. So that's something that us agents, we have to educate our members and let them know, hey, you will no longer be able to be switching around, plans like you're used to. Now you'll only be able, to stick to one plan for the rest of the year. And that's something that's, CMS is rolling out, not something that we're making the rules. CMS is coming up with these rules.
And also, you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but anytime seniors hear about changes with their prescription drugs, their ears perk up for sure. And that's a huge thing. So, from what I'm understanding, in some cases, prescription drug costs might go down. In other cases, they might go up.
Correct.
What are you hearing?
The most important thing and what I'm really excited about is for the prescription drugs, the Part D, there's no longer going to be a donut hole. Not sure if people knew what a donut hole is. If you're new to Medicare, don't even worry about it. It was basically there was a time period where wherever your plan already paid its part for medication, so now you fall in this donut hole where you have to pay more than what you're used to because the plan had already paid its part. Well, you no longer have to worry about that because for 2025 there's no longer going to be a donut hole, so that's something good for the consumer. There's a lot of changes, and I might not be able to talk about yet because they're still not 100% clarified, but there's also a lot of changes coming for us agents, which our consumers don't have to know about. But mainly that Part D, no donut hole, that's something that, I'm excited for because those clients that did fall in the donut hole, man, they had to pay a bunch of copays for those medications for insurance. So yeah, that's something good.
Even if we don't know the exact changes right now, we know the changes are going to be constant. Medicare is looking at their bottom line very closely, just like everything else right now. So when they're doing that, that means that there's going to be changes. But hey, that's good job security for you because you're more and more valuable in that case, right?
Correct. Yes.
So the reality is, based on numbers, more people turn 65 outside of annual enrollment, outside of that October 15th to December 7th period. So what is your advice for those folks and how they go about getting signed up? How soon before they turn 65 they should start looking at it?
So our recommendation is at least 3 months before, at least. We actually start reaching out to our T65 6 months before, but we recommend at least 3. You know why? Because if you're not receiving your Social Security or any type of pension yet, you have to get an interview set up with the Social Security. That's to start off. You can decide, if to retire, you can decide not to retire, but you have to get that interview so you can apply for your Medicare Part A and B. It is really crucial that we do that in time because if we don't do that in time, you might get a penalty after you turn 65. So you just have to make sure 3 months before, 3 months after you enroll into your A and B, make sure you choose at least a Part D prescription drug plan, because if not, that late enrollment penalty starts. For people that already receive their pension, let's say you're retired at 62, then you should actually automatically receive your Medicare card 3 months before your birthday, before you turn 65. That's if you're already receiving your Social Security pension. But usually people aren't, so we tell them, hey, come to the office, we'll help you make the call. We help you with everything. We like to make the call with you with the Social Security. We actually don't even say anything, but the client, just knowing that we're there to support them with that call, just gets that peace of mind for them. It just makes that call easier and everything, and then we can follow up after that, because sometimes the Social Security will be like, yeah, we'll reach out to you, or you'll receive a letter in 2-3 weeks, and then they never receive it, and then they never come back, and they start Medicare, and then they start getting that late enrollment. That's something that we don't want, so we follow up every step with the member.
The most overwhelming message I want people to get out of this is, hey, whenever there's a doubt, pick up the phone and call Jesus and his team, and they'll walk you through whatever challenges you're facing.
Exactly. And I mean, the cool thing about us is, for example, here in Laredo, we're open Monday through Sunday. So we're open every day of the week. So you can, if we don't pick up for any reason, you know where to find us. But we always pick up, so don't worry.
Yeah, so Joe Namath probably isn't going to call you back if you're having problems, but with someone local like Jesus, you're going to get that response. And then I know you often talk about how important it is to have that local office. We're in a world where there's a lot of Zoom calls. Face-to-face isn't as big of a thing anymore, but that's something that's quite important to you still.
Yes, Ryan. I mean, I think the success that our agency has is because we're local. And that's what I tell everybody, even people that are just prospects and they just come in for information. I tell them, hey, I don't even care if you come back with me. Just find yourself a local agent, because it's just going to be a better process and everything. Even after the enrollment, if you want to order products, if you want to order a new member ID, if you want to change doctors, it's easier if you just call your local agent and they help you with the process. So, I mean, that's, again, I tell people, I don't care if it's me, just go with a local agent. It's going to make your life easier.
On that note, anybody that's still listening to this certainly is interested in working with you and learning more. So what is the best way for them to get in touch and get started with you?
So first of all, here locally in Laredo, you can visit us at 4801 San Dario Avenue. We're inside HEB Mercado, and we're also going to be opening our second location at the HEB Plus, our only HEB Plus in Laredo. You can reach us at 956-815-2742. Again, that is 956-815-2742. Or you can visit our website, which is Ahia Laredo, AHIA Laredo.com.
So there you've heard it. Don't try to do this on your own, folks. It's not worth it. Someone for free is probably going to save you a lot of money. And it's possible that grocery card that you get, that plan is the best one for you. But let's make sure someone that's experienced knows that first before you take that on.
Especially this year, Ryan, with all the changes coming, especially this year, I believe all of us agents, we're responsible for our members. We want to make sure they stay in our book of business. So, I mean, I think the one-on-one this year is really important, especially this year with all the changes.
Well, fantastic information, Jesus. I appreciate you taking your time. Glad we got you now before the craziness of annual enrollment keeps you wall-to-wall busy. But great information. Thanks so much for joining us.